everybody, and welcome to the weekly scopes from the 16th of March to the 22nd of March. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's weekly scopes. If you've heard this before, you can skip, but this is just the intro on how I formulate these astrology weekly readings. I use astrology and my intuition to give you advice how you can practically use the knowledge of the stars and the planets and apply them to your life. So my weekly scopes are all based on GMT time and on Vedic Constellational Astrology. So now I'm just going to explain what Vedic Constellational Astrology is and how it differs from Western astrology. So the precession of the equinox is sort of like something that happens in astronomy and astrology, where the Earth's axis undergoes a slow circular motion over 26,000 years, and basically this means that this motion causes a shift in the position of the equinoxes, and also the calculation Vedic and Western astrologies use. So around 2,000 years ago, the tropical and sidereal Vedic astrology signs of astrology were aligned in the same position. So if the sun was in Scorpio in Vedic astrology, it was also in the constellation of Scorpio in Western astrology. But because of the precession of the equinoxes, this has caused a gradual westward sort of like drift of the tropical Western signs. So basically these signs and the Western signs shift 1 degree with every 72 years. So as a result of this ongoing shift, when Western astrology says the sun is in the constellation of Pisces, it's typically in the constellation of Aquarius. Still, this is because the degree, orb and the date for Western and Vedic astrology are 24 degrees, 24 days apart. So in Western astrology, the sun enters the constellation of Pisces around the 19th of February each year, but actually the sun doesn't arrive into the constellation of Pisces until the 13th to the 15th of March each year. And Vedic astrology takes this into account because it's based on the fixed star positions, and Vedic astrologers use sidereal calculations. So as a result, Vedic astrology takes into account the actual positions of the constellations in the sky at any given time, and also considers the precession of the equinox, adjusting for the shift in the position of the equinoxes over time. But in terms of Western astrology follows the tropical zodiac, which is based on the seasons rather than fixed star positions. Western astrologers also do not directly account for the precession of the equinox in their calculations as well, so this results in slightly different calculations and interpretations that are given whether we're using Western astrology or Vedic astrology. So yeah, as I said, Western astrology uses specific dates, so every year, regardless of where the sun actually is at the sky, the sun moves into Pisces around the 19th of February. So yeah, this discrepancy, this misalignment between the tropical zodiac and the actual positions of the constellations has led to a discrepancy between Vedic astrology and Western astrology. So I consider the actual where the sun and the moon are and where Mars and Venus are at any given time, and this is how I formulate these sort of like weekly scopes. So yeah, thanks for listening to this, and let's dive into this week's weekly scope. Okay, so now I'm just going to explain what parallels and contra-parallels are in astrology, because I use them in my chart interpretation. So declination in astrology is the measure of how far a celestial body is, such as the sun, whether it's either north or south of the celestial equator. And the celestial equator is an imaginary line in the sky above the Earth's equator, which us astrologers use in our interpretation. So parallels happen when two planets are on the same declination, either both planets are on the north side side, or either both planets are on the south side, and this alignment increases the influence of the involved planets. So it's similar to a conjunction aspect, as it amplifies their energy, making the effects of the planets more pronounced. Contra-parallels, on the other hand, happen when two planets are on the same declination, but one is in the north and one is in the south. So this alignment creates tension, which is similar to an opposition aspect, and it can lead to conflict, challenges and inner struggles between the energies of the planets involved. So contra-parallels highlight areas of friction or contrast in our lives, urging us to find balance between the opposing forces at play. When transiting parallels and contra-parallels happen, they can sort of like trigger significant events, shifting consciousness and periods of intense growth and transformation. So I look at these aspects closely during chart analysis to understand how planetary energies interact and influence each other during a specific time frame, to pinpoint key periods for personal development, relationship dynamics or career shifts, and other shifts like karmic shifts and stuff like that. Because I just find using contra-parallels and parallels gives me more depth in interpretation, so I use them. So contra-parallels and parallels in astrology serve as markers for potential challenges or breakthroughs, guiding us towards more self-awareness, love, acceptance, understanding, forgiveness for ourselves and others, and shifts in consciousness and growth. So overall, just a shift in our mindset if we allow for it. So parallels and contra-parallels just kind of like provide valuable insights into the complexities and nuances of the astrological interactions between planetary movements. So yeah, that's the end of what contra-parallels and parallels are. So this week we've got two aspects that are controlling us, influencing us this week. We've got the Sun making a parallel to Neptune, so this is has the same effect as a conjunction. Entered on the 11th of March, is exact on the 16th of March, and is going to leave us on the 22nd of March. And this happens when the Sun's in Pisces and Neptune's there too. Venus makes a parallel to Chiron, and this happens when they're both in Pisces. So this works the same as a conjunction as well, but just means like they're on opposite sides, on the same side, of the atmosphere. And this entered on the 12th of March, is exact on the 21st of March, and leaves us on the 27th of March. So it's going to influence us right to the end of next week as well. So the Sun's parallel to Neptune brings a mix of intuition and creativity. It allows us to have some seriously intense artistic creative expression and spiritual insight into our problems. So it's a great energy for thinking, but not overthinking, right? Meditation, exploring our dreams and connecting with our inner self and higher power. We may feel a stronger connection to our emotions and the collective unconscious. It allows us to tap into the universal themes that resonate with those around us, so we just may be more compassionate to people's feelings right now, and we can have those deep emotional conversations. But negatively, it can lead to confusion or escapism, as the boundaries between reality and illusion can be blurred right now, and we can just find ourselves more susceptible to daydreaming, as well as I said, and idealizing situations. And we can just feel like, we put people up on a pedestal this week, people please, and this can lead to disappointment, especially if they don't meet our expectations, and especially if our expectations are not grounded in reality. So don't ask for or give more than you can actually handle right now, and what other people can deliver, because there can be a lot of over-promising but a lot of breaking commitments and promises this week. Psychologically, it encourages us to self-reflect and explore our subconscious motivations. Why do you do the daily things you do? Is it because you really want to do them, or is it because of unresolved psychological, spiritual or emotional trauma? It wants us to think about our relationship with the spiritual and ethereal and the unknown. Do we run away from it? Are we connected to it? Are we making progress on our path, or are we getting stuck in our path? A lot of the time we can get stuck in techniques that were good when we were first learning spirituality, but we may need to let go of as we move deeper into our spirituality, right? It wants us to look into creative projects and practices that upgrade and improve our emotional well-being. It invites us to totally own and trust in the universe and surrender to the flow of life, understanding that both clarity and confusion serve their purpose in our personal growth. Esoterically, it's an opportunity for healing as we become more aware of our intuitive gifts and the ways in which they can guide us on our path. We may find that our dreams and visions take on a greater significance, and it just helps with us doing that can help us with gaining a deeper understanding of our place within the universe. Venus is parallel to Chiron, allows us to be open to healing and emotional growth, encourages positively, encourages us to look into our relationships with greater depth, as our we can just feel more empathetic and compassionate for our own pain, others' pain, as I said. So again, it supports us with addressing those past wounds, especially those related to our being able to give and receive love and our sense of self-worth. And it allows us to let go of old patterns that get in the way of our personal connections and relationships, and us loving ourselves and being able to give and receive love and having a good sense of our self-worth and esteem and confidence. It's a great energy to use to be artistic, musical, music therapy, drawing therapy can be really good. Doesn't mean you have to see a therapist. You can look at techniques online and listen to your favourite songs and just ponder or draw things, draw out your emotions, sing out your emotions, write out your emotions, But negatively, it can be hard for us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and our relationships, and this can lead to potential feelings of vulnerability or heartbreak. Psychologically, it sheds lights on areas where we feel inadequate or unloved. It motivates self-reflection and gives us a desire to see validation from within rather from others. So this is good to rely on your own internal wisdom. Spiritually, it wants us to think about the idea of unconditional love and acceptance for ourselves and others. We have to give it to ourselves first, and this is how we can truly understand how much, how hard it can be and how much we can give to others as well. It wants us to work towards feeling whole from within. On an esoteric level, it can signify a time when the divine feminine and masculine energies within us are harmonized, and this allows us for a more seriously intense, next level, deep understanding of our spiritual path and purpose. And it wants us to be open and develop healing on multiple levels, and it helps us to create a more compassionate relationship with ourselves and the world around us. Content creators should talk about themes of how to work with our intuition and imagination and inner spirituality, because it makes us more sensitive. These sweet aspects, you can focus on content about how to work with our dreams, how to keep a dream journal, how to increase our creativity, how to be more open to the mystical, unknown aspects of life, talking about death and the spiritual significance of it, which is to let go and to transform. Also, you know, discussions around escapism, how we escape into drugs, drink and alcohol, and why we do this. Often it's because we can find dealing with our emotional, psychological and spiritual wounds more painful. It motivates us to manifest our healing and transcendence into our life. So talking about how we can bring more healing and be open to change, because that's what transcendence is, letting go of one version of ourselves, being open to a new version and doing this and refining until we are more stable within, you know. So, you know, really working with the energy of love, healing and vulnerability, talking about what vulnerability is and how we can be more vulnerable and how we can become more self-reflective and how we can be more interested in our self-care, healthy self-care, and how we can develop more emotional intimacy, not just with others but with ourselves through, you know, journaling, creative expression and through working through our challenges, you know. You can also share your personal stories of where you've had challenging times and you may have found it hard to love and things like that and to understand others, and this can really help your audience know that, you know, all humans have struggles, so they can be more at ease with working through their own struggles and not feeling ashamed of that. And remember, we should never feel shame and guilt, and we've been programmed that way, right? But we need to let go of that because everybody's got issues, you know, especially in the times we live in now. So yeah, on the 16th of March, the moon enters void of course at 9:53. The moon also enters Libra at 7:46. The sun also makes its exact parallel to Neptune, and I talked about this already this week, and the exact parallel happens at 10:21 p.m. So yeah. The moon entering Libra increases our life's focus on relationships, harmony and balance. So this is really good. Helps us to serve at those issues this week. It helps us to feel more inclined, open to working with others, seeking companionship and togetherness, and engaging in social activities so we can socialise more, because the Libra moon encourages cooperation and being diplomatic and bringing peace, right? And developing an environment where discussions can lead to mutual understanding and compromise. This is what makes this energy great for resolving conflicts, as Libra promotes fairness and equality, and people may feel a stronger desire to beautify our surroundings and create aesthetically pleasing environments within ourselves and within our homes and workplaces and, you know, social environments and stuff. So, you know, because our emotional world is really categorized by diplomacy and partnerships, it's a great energy to use for handling any outstanding issues, as I said, or initiating new relationships, you know. But we just have to be mindful of avoiding confrontation at all costs, and this can lead to unresolved issues festering, hiding beneath the surface. You know, we can people please when we need to speak up, you know. The desire for harmony can overshadow our own needs, getting in the way of those, causing feelings of frustration or resentment if personal boundaries are not maintained. So, you know, assert your boundaries, respect other people's boundaries, do not allow others to walk over you. People pleasing only gets you so far in the long run, you know. Everything has to give, so it's better to be honest and think about the reasons why you may people please and avoid conflict, you know. Decision making can become more difficult at this time as well, and the best use of this energy is to use its strengths for team working and relationship building while being aware of the potential traps and obstacles, spending time on activities that promote social interaction such as group projects and community events, and this can really maximize the benefits of this transit. So all in all, it's a good time to reflect on your personal values and boundaries and ensure that while we work to seek harmony with others and have that balance, it's nice to do that. We can't lose sight of our own emotional needs, you know. new. On the 17th of March, the Sun makes a conjunction to the Moon's North Node. The Sun makes a parallel to the Moon's North Node as well. The Moon's North Node goes retrograde, and Mercury makes its exact semi-square to Uranus. So yeah, the Sun's conjunction to the Moon's North Node happens when the Sun's in Pisces and the Moon's North Node is in Pisces as well. The Sun's parallel to the North Node is the same. The Sun's in Pisces and so is the North Node. And Mercury's semi-square to Uranus happens when Mercury's in Pisces and Uranus is in Aries. And remember, a conjunction is kind of the same as a parallel, but what a parallel means is that the Sun and the Moon's North Node is on the same side of the atmosphere, the Earth's declination, but a conjunction means that, you know, the conjunction, but yeah, the energy does work the same. So the Sun's conjunction and parallel to the Moon's North Node wants us to do things that align us more closely with our true path and our destiny and purpose. It's a great opportunity for setting intentions related to our personal growth and to totally own what needs to be released from our life or transformed in our life. So being open to changing our personal habits, especially our self-destructive habits where we may overthink, overindulge in drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. Think about why we do these things, why are we self-destructive, why do we avoid confronting our emotions and stuff. The Moon's North Node wants us to reflect. It's a period of reflection rather than action, so it's okay if you just have thoughts, and it wants you to reflect on your past experiences, and by doing this you can collect valuable insights into how you can bring the changes into your life. Mercury semi-square to Uranus wants us to be more flexible and open-minded and totally own innovative ideas that come up during this time, to exercise caution to avoid misunderstandings and hasty decisions, because it can just make us a bit impulsive, this energy, right? So, you know, we have to watch out for this impulsiveness, because people can say and do things that they don't mean. We need to balance self-reflection with a willingness to evolve and change. So this week is really about, you know, changing this week, being open to change, looking at your life, getting real. Mercury's in retrograde as well, you know, getting real about what you want to change. On the 18th of March, the Moon enters via combustion, and the Moon also enters its disseminating moon phase at 10:01 p.m. as well. So the Moon via combustion means that the Moon is between the 15th degree of Libra and the 15th degree of Scorpio, so it lasts a couple of days. It gives us the energy to confront deeper issues that we may have previously overlooked or run away from, but it does bring emotional intensity and add to the unpredictability of this week. But it's a powerful time for catharsis, allowing us to release pent-up feelings and energy. But we just need to be mindful of the potential confusion, depression and anxiety and stress that can come up because of this energy. It allows us to really be open to emotions, but it can overwhelm us with emotions. The disseminating moon phase allows us to share and express insights that we have gained this week. It represents the spirit of being open and disseminating, and encourages us to express our thoughts and feelings clearly. It's an excellent energy to work with others and network and be supportive of our own ideas and other people's ideas and experiences, and it just brings us a strong need and motivation to reach out to others, whether to teach, inspire or gain further clarity on our journey. So this is really good energy, you know. So on the 19th of March, Uranus enters Taurus at 8 minutes past midnight. The Moon enters void of course at 6:03 a.m. The Moon enters Scorpio at 8:37 a.m. and the Sun makes a conjunction to Neptune when the Sun and Neptune are in Pisces. So the Moon in Scorpio allows us to upgrade and improve our emotional depth, intuition, and the ability to connect with others on a more seriously intense, next level, deep level. It also encourages self-reflection and self-discovery, making it an ideal time for people to confront their feelings and release pent-up emotions and engage vibe with healing practices. So it's good for that self-care, healthy self-care, yoga, tai chi, meditation, all of that. Also wants us to explore themes of intimacy, trust and vulnerability. So this allows us to have deeper connections in our personal relationships, especially the relationship with ourselves, right? But on the flip side, we're talking about fixed water energy. It can just make us more emotional, volatile and unstable, jealous and obsessive in our thoughts. The best use of this energy is to use it for self-reflection, transformation, rather than letting it spiral into negative behaviours and conflicts. So activities like journaling, therapy or deep conversations can help us navigate the complex, challenging times and the hurdles of our emotions at this time. But on the other hand, Uranus in Taurus, now I've done a whole deeper dive in this and it's on the playlist, right? But it's a time of change and innovation, especially in regards to our finances, values and material world. It allows for breakthroughs in financial matters. It allows us to think about alternative approaches to wealth building and bringing resources into our life, and it just pushes us more towards sustainability and having a more eco-consciousness. It inspires us to rethink our relationship with money. It encourages us to look into unconventional income earning opportunities and investment paths. But the unpredictability associated with Uranus can also bring about instability, causing disruptions in our routines and financial markets, the economy on whole. So the best use of this energy is to totally own being flexible and being open to new ideas and experimenting with new financial strategies and value systems right now, and being adaptable and receptive to change. And by doing this, we can use the energy of Uranus and table really nice stable energy for a long while, right, to help us with our growth and innovation, to help us lead a more authentic and fulfilling way of life. The Sun's conjunction to Neptune adds to the intuition and creativity of this week. It allows us to vibe with the spiritual practices and projects as well, and the veil between the seen and unseen can become thin at this time. But on the other hand, we have to be mindful of the delusion and illusionment that this energy can bring. The Sun conjunction to Neptune can just make us feel like we want to escape into drugs and alcohol, because we're dealing with Pisces Neptune energy, and escape our reality, ignore the red flags, believe the lies. We can be more open to not checking details on the small print, and this can have financial and other consequences, so make sure you do that. But on the plus side, our dreams can be more accessible and we can have a clearer vision of reality, and it's a great energy for meditation and connecting with our inner self. So a lot of energy this week is helping us to connect with our deeper sense of purpose and being open to the new and healing ourselves. On the 20th of March, the spring equinox happens. Yay! I've done a whole separate audio of this, and the moon leaves via combustion at 2:43 p.m. So the spring equinox is the astrological new year, and it represents the balance of light and dark in the northern hemisphere, and it wants us to find that balance between our own light and darkness, our own strengths and weaknesses. But I talk more about this on the special. The Sun in Pisces allows us to be more compassionate and creative and more emotional aware, and it allows us to tap into our subconscious and engage with our spiritual side. So the equinox energy helps us to heal and dissolve boundaries and promotes more empathy as well. But also it can lead to confusion, because we may want to escape, as I said, and we may find it hard to tell the difference between reality from illusion, right? So we just need to watch out for that. This energy adds to the unrealistic expectations we can have this week. The moon leaving via combustion can just bring us relief, right? Because it's been intense. It can make us intense in our emotions. So, you know, this departure from Via Combustor allows us to recalibrate, balance our emotional states as well. The best use of this energy is to really tap into that creativity, you know. A lot of Pisces energy is happening, you know, so, you know, it's really allowing us to get real and to tap into our inner selves. On the 21st of March, Venus is parallel to Chiron, is exact at 3:21. The moon void, of course, starts at 6:23. The moon enters Sagittarius at 8:16, and Venus makes a set star to Pluto at 9:32 as well. So yeah, I talked about Venus's parallel to Chiron earlier this week. The moon in Sagittarius allows us to be more optimistic and enthusiastic and want to seek out more adventure, right? It wants us to expand our horizons both mentally and physically, so it supports the energies of this week that wants us to gain a deeper sense of self and open up to new experiences, increases our appetite for knowledge and boosts our creativity and a tendency to feel more free-spirited and spontaneous. Helps us feeling more open to newness, right? New philosophies, new beliefs, new ways of personal development and growth. And it's an ideal energy for travel, social gatherings and spending time and activities that open up to new perspectives. And the Sagittarius energy inspires a sense of wonder and discovery. Negatively, it can lead us to be more restless and lack focus, and it can just make it challenging for people to commit to tasks or long-term goals as well, and also more of a desire for freedom as well. But this desire for freedom can clash with our responsibilities, you know. And this can lead to frustration and discontent when obligations come up, and it kind of strengthens the Sagittarian tendency to speak more candidly, and sometimes this can come off as being tactless or insensitive, and this can put a strain on relationships that's not handled with care. The best use of this energy is to be more adventurous, to explore and to balance you know, responsibility with inner stability. Venus's set star to Pluto allows us to be more passionate and transformative, right? Especially within the areas of love, relationship and creativity, helping us to repair any arguments, develop more meaningful bonds this week, encourages us to be more honest and vulnerable in our personal relationship, and it wants us to, you know, embrace being in love with ourselves. If you're single, or you know, it's good for date nights. It can increase attraction and magnetism. It can help us have a deeper understanding of our human emotions. It motivates us to confront and heal old wounds, supporting the main themes of this week. And it can just lead to some seriously intense, next level deep sense of intimacy and commitment. But negatively can add to the power struggles of this week. You know, Pluto energy and the insecurities and our vulnerabilities can come to the surface, and we can just feel shaky. So, you know, the sextile energy wants us to bring harmony, but the intensity of Pluto can just make us more jealous and obsessive and possessive. So we just need to be mindful of this, and we just need to you know, be aware of, you know, this energy to prevent our emotions from sort of like getting in the way of resolving conflicts as well. The best use of this energy is to spend time in open and honest conversations with our loved ones. On the 22nd of March, there's a last quarter moon at 11:30. The moon's north node goes direct at 11:36, and this allows us to reflect and release what needs to be let go of, and evaluate what's working in our life and what needs to let go of. And it gives us the perfect opportunity to draw lessons from our recent experiences, and this can allow for emotional closure while setting the stage for new beginnings. And as the moon's north node becomes direct, it allows us to be more in alignment with growing this week, and it just shows us the importance of realigning or aligning our emotional needs with change and giving us a sense renewed of purpose, and it motivates us to take decisive actions towards our future goals. And it just wants us to totally own this energy by being open to meditating, and by doing this we can align our emotions with our ambitions. And symbolically it wants us to take responsibility for our healing journey and using the lessons from our life experience to push ourselves forward in our personal development with more clarity and intent. So yeah, that's the end of the weekly scopes from the 16th to the 22nd of March. I'm Amani, your holistic astrological life coach. So yeah, take care and see you next week.